Hey, it's Miss Elizabeth, and it is our Rock Island Public Library Summer Reading Program. And usually you all are here, usually right after Miss Gloria's art class. Some of you do back-to-back, and this year we're virtual. Yeah, so you all who've been here before, you know me, and those of you who don't know me, I've been doing this Summer Math Club for so many years, and usually we have a lot of fun because usually you're right here with me, but I'm excited and hopefully you'll be excited too. Math is everywhere, and our job today is to look for math in some simple areas. So today what you're going to need is you're going to need some pennies because we're going to be doing a coin tossing activity, and then at the end I'm going to give you some puzzlers, and the answer won't be until you come back next week. All right, so stick around and we're going to read a story first and then we're going to get into our coin tossing activity. Today's story is a very improbable story by Edward Einhorn, illustrated by Adam Gustafson. So one morning Ethan woke up with a cat on his head. There was nothing improbable about that. Ethan's cat Snowy sometimes curled up there to sleep, but this was different. The cat on Ethan's head wasn't his cat. What in the what are you doing up there? Ethan tried to remove the animal. The cat wouldn't budge. I wouldn't do that, said the cat. You can talk? Kid, you're a master of the obvious, said the cat. What kind of, I can't believe this, Ethan stammered as he scrambled out of bed. Well, I'm no ordinary cat. The creature stretched. My name is Odds, and I like to play games of probability. How likely is it that something will happen? Well, what does that have to do with being on my head? Ethan looked in the mirror. Win a game and I'll get off, said Odds. Well, I'd love to play a game, said Ethan, but I have soccer in an hour. It's the last match of the season. Oh, asked Odds, do you usually play soccer with a cat on your head? Come on, the team's counting on me, Ethan pleaded. Odds didn't move. Ethan shook his head back and forth. No good. He did jumping jacks, a cartwheel, and a handstand. Odds held on. Well, some of you at home, you could go ahead and do some jumping jacks and headstands. I'll wait. All right, hey kid, I see an easy way out of this. That can of coins on your shelf, it's an opportunity. How? Asked Ethan. Well, if you can pull out a dime without looking, I'll get off your head. Ethan reached in and pulled out a penny. Ta-da! Sang Odds. You lose. Maybe a shower will convince you to leave, Ethan muttered. Cats don't like to get wet, right? Ethan was right. Odds didn't like getting wet. He howled, but he didn't get off. Ethan turned off the shower. So the only way you'll get off is if I win your game? That's right, said Odds. Ethan put on his shorts and his soccer jersey. The neck hole was just big enough for Odds to fit through. Don't put on your socks yet, ordered Odds. It can be your next game. All of your pairs of socks are different. You'll win if you can pull out 2 matching socks without looking. Ethan reached into the drawer and pulled out a striped sock. So now all I have to do is pull out a matching one, he said. It's not as easy as it sounds, warned Odds. With 10 pairs of socks, you have a very low probability of finding a match. Here goes nothing, said Ethan. He took a deep breath and pulled out a sock. Ta-da! Sang Odds. You lose. After you pulled out the first sock, there were 19 single socks left. So there was only 1 sock out of 19 that would have let you win. Is that what they call bad odds? Asked Ethan. Some do, admitted Odds, though I would never put the words bad and odds together. So the odds were 1 out of 19, said Ethan, but now they're 1 out of 18. He pulled out another sock and groaned. This one had stars on it. I think it's time for a new game, Odds yawned. At that moment, the door flew open and Ethan's little sister, Cindy, ran in. Kitty, she squealed. Hi, Ethan. Hello, Kitty. Hello, said Odds, squinting down at her. Let's play, Cindy squealed, grabbing at Odds' tail. Odds pulled his tail away. I only play probability games, he sniffed. Want a snack? Cindy asked, picking up Ethan's bag of marbles. Cats don't eat marbles? That's it, Ethan exclaimed, taking the bag from her. That would make a great probability game, wouldn't it? Maybe, Odds admitted. Ethan dumped the marbles onto the rug and counted. There are 25 white, 25 yellow, 25 green, and 25 blue. 100 in all. Cindy counted too. 1, 2, 5 gazillion. Here's a probability game, said Ethan. I'll pick out a white one. I have only a 25 in 100 chance of doing that. Well, that's too easy, said Odds. That's the same as odds of 1 in 4. Cindy said, I know a game. Let's jump on the marbles. She waved her arms, ready to leap. No! Cried out Odds and Ethan together. Ethan made Cindy sit on the bed. How about this, said Ethan. I'll try to pull out 2 white marbles. That would have a low probability. Odds shrugged. What's probability? Asked Cindy. Why are you doing that? I'm trying to figure out my chance. That's what probability means. He arranged the marbles in groups of 2. I'm putting together every combination of 2 colors to figure out how likely 2 white marbles would be. See, there are 16 combinations, he declared. So the odds are 1 in 16. Tough odds, purred the cat. Let's play. Ethan pushed the marbles into a big pile. He picked up one without looking. It was white. Halfway there, he replaced the marble and picked up another one. It was yellow. Ta-da, sang Odds. You lose. Let me see, demanded Cindy. Ethan sighed and showed her the mismatched marbles. Cindy reached in and took out 2 white marbles. I win, she shouted. You cheated, Ethan said. It's not a probability game if you look. Ethan, Cindy, breakfast, their mom called. Bye, kitty, said Cindy. She gave Odds a kiss and ran out of the room. Please, Odds, I have to go to my soccer, Ethan stopped. Hey, wait, maybe soccer can be a probability game. If we score 5 goals but make 25 attempts, then we have a 1 in 5 chance. And asked Odds. Ethan sighed. I don't know. I'll think about it during breakfast. I hope no one's in the kitchen, he said, putting on his cowboy hat to hide Odds. Cindy had already finished her breakfast, and the kitchen was empty. It's Odie Wolf, said Ethan, scooping up a handful of dog-shaped cereal. Try them. They're delicious. And you know what? If you want to know more, you're going to have to check out this book. So we're going to talk about probability. How about we go on to the next activity? So what you're going to need to do is get out your coin tossing activity from your packet. On one side, it says A, B, C, D, E, and on the back side, it says flip your penny. We're going to be working on this side first. So it says, first of all, you're going to guess how many times a coin will land on heads if you toss it 100 times. So I happen to have a penny right here. Now, if you'd rather have a quarter, that's okay. It doesn't really matter what coin you use. I just thought, usually in math club, we give you the penny, but you're not here, so you can use whatever coin you want. So you're going to write your guess right here. So how many times do you think you're going to get heads? I'm going to guess 49. So I'll write 49 down. Now we're going to try it. So you're going to toss the coin into the air 100 times. So you can flip it like that. You could just throw it like that. And you know what? Both times I did that, I got heads. Now here's what we're going to talk about. On this side of the worksheet, there's a space for you to make tally marks. And some of you out there are younger than some of the others. So I'm going to explain to you by using this whiteboard what a tally mark is. So one way that we can keep track of how we count things is we make a mark, right? So this mark here means 1. Hopefully you can see that at home. So we have 1, and then if I had the second one, I'm going to mark 2. Here we go. See? It's 2. What happens after we get 5 tally marks. So here's what we do. 1, 2, and we mark 3, and then we mark 4. And on the 5th tally mark, we make a bundle. So you can make a bundle by either going straight across, like this. That's one way people do it. Or what I usually do is I mark 1, 2, 3, 4, and I make a diagonal. So you can see, when I see that amount, that bundle means I have 5. So it's easier to count because we can count by 5s really easily. And we'll practice that after we do this. So one way to keep track of how many heads or tails you get is to make the tally marks in the space marked heads or the space marked tails. Now some of you kids out there, maybe you're a little bit younger, and the easier thing to do is for you to put an H or a T, or you could color it. So if you have 2 crayons, choose 2 different colors, maybe like blue and yellow. So you would color maybe blue for heads and tails for yellow. And then when you fill this all in, you'll know that you've hit 100 times. Because, I hate to tell you, but counting is actually one of the hardest parts of math. Because in our brains, we can only hold about 7 chunks of information at any given time. And 100, that's a lot more than 7. So after we do all that, you're going to count your tally marks. And you're going to see that you have a total number of heads. And I'm not going to do this, that would take too much time. And the total number of tails. And hopefully, if you counted correctly, that you flipped 100 times, the number of heads plus the number of tails should equal 100. After that, you're going to maybe estimate how many times it will land on heads if you want to repeat your experiment, and you're going to do that. You're going to calculate your observed percentage. So when we talk about probability, remember how odds the cat talked about, like 1 out of how many numbers? So this is going to be how many heads you get is the first number, and it should be out of the number of total flips. So hopefully you do it out of 100. Why would we do it out of 100? Well, it helps us with percentage. So one of the words we're learning today is percentage. The word percent means per 100. We think of cent. It's a penny, right? There are 100 pennies in $1. There are 100 years in a century. So any of you who live in the Quad Cities, you go across the Centennial Bridge, well, that marks the 100-year anniversary of something. So we're going to make that word percentage means the number of times out of 100, and then we use that really funny symbol for percent. Hopefully your parents are helping you at home. For you younger kids, you older kids probably already know that language. All right, so let's talk about counting up to 5 by 5s to 100. Y'all want to do that with me? I'm going to use this hand for 5s. This hand always is going to go for the 10s. So you do this at home with me. So I know you older kids, I get it. You got this. But I got a lot of younger kids out there. So grab your younger siblings and let's practice. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. What happened is that this hand always says something that ends in 5. 5 and 15, 25, 35. This one always said something that ends in 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. That T, that TY sound, that tells you it's a 10. So if we say 60, we're meaning there are 6 10s. That's 60. So we're learning a little bit about base 10. Percent, we go from 10 to 100. That means we do 10 sets of 10. So we could count by 10s by using both our hands. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Hooray! Give yourself a big high five. Boom! All right. We could also do a high 10. Jump high. Oh, I could also do down low. Oh, too slow. All right, guys. Now it's time for our next little portion. So give me a minute and I'm going to get all my coins ready. And you at home need to get maybe about 10 pennies. That would be great. See you then. back. You're not going to see my head so much as you're going to see my hands here on the table. So remember, I asked you to go get some pennies, and that's because we're going to do some coin challenges. So in addition to doing our probability, these are just some fun brain teasers for you to try at home. So I'm going to get 6 coins. So I have 6 pennies right here. And you can see there's a couple of different ways for me to think about how I've arranged this. I could say this is a row of 3 and this is a row of 3. So I have 2 rows of 3 and 3 columns, 1, 2, 3, 3 columns of 2. So that's a couple different ways to think about that. If you count them, we can count by 2s, 2, 4, 6, or we can count by 3s, 3, 6. Either way, we know that we got 2, 4, 6, 6, or 3, 6. We have 6 coins. That's half a dozen. All right, now here's the challenge. Are you ready? You need to rearrange these 6 coins so that you have 2 rows and they each have 4 coins. 2 rows with 4 coins. That's your challenge. So come back next week to find out what the answer to the first challenge is. Now we're going to have a second challenge. Now you see that I have these 6 coins and I'm going to rearrange them slightly. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to change them so that they are staggered just a little bit. Can you see that they're a little bit staggered? So this one is another challenge. So this is challenge number 2. You're going to arrange these and you're going to then rearrange these by moving only 2 coins. And your job is to make it end up to be a circle. And what does that mean? So I'm not going to show you how to do it, but I am going to show you how it should look at the end, okay? All right. Okay, how did I do that? That's for me to know and for you to figure it out. So if you're interested in knowing more about how this coin challenge is going to be solved, come back next week and we'll have the answers at the end of next week's session. All right, so you have the probability worksheet, you have the coin tossing activity. Hopefully you'll have a good time figuring this out and learning a little bit more about probability. All right, see you guys next time. Take good care and don't forget to practice making tally marks.